Pitbull is not much of a feinter because some dogs don't really bark, they only bite, and that's probably why Mike Tyson is a big inspiration of his. Science Combat Analysis, hit the like button, subscribe. Now let's talk science. Here's my opinion going into this fight. For one, I was convinced that Rayo was going to be knocked out because Cruz is so aggressive, and I've never seen Rayo box to this degree, and that's what makes his performance impressive, in my opinion. Well, one of the immediate things Rayo was doing to control the pace and then the range of the fight is these constant probes, constantly flicking out that lead hand, which means he's controlling the range, the pace, and that means Cruz has to either find an opening when Rayo overextends, like how he does right here, which he's not able to get anything off of it, and then Rayo pushes off, or he has to try and time the rhythm of those lead hands. But the probe is something I advocated for Crawford to do, and we're going to talk more about that later on. Notification bell, we got a video coming covering that. As Rayo probes, Isak is obviously trying to get through them, and you see him trying to peel away and knock away those probes, but his advancements are felt literally by Rayo, which means Rayo can see the attacks or feel the attacks coming before they actually get there, so it means he can escape. And that's somewhat similar to how Gervonta Tank Davis nullified Ryan Garcia's left hook in their fight. And you see this violent little man waiting for an opportunity, and as soon as he sees that left hand, you see him immediately jump because he knows Rayo's going to be leaning forward, and he tries to touch him with the jab right there. He tries to jump in and catch him at a vulnerable moment, but then he tries to land the right hand. It just barely misses. That's because Rayo had a little bit of outside foot positioning, and you could tell that he does because he's able to circle out away from that right hand. That foot positioning was kind of crucial for Rayo not getting laid out in this fight, and we'll talk more about that. Cruz, with enough feints and enough offense, was able to get Rayo against the ropes. When Rayo was trying to do the understandable thing of like answering back, like, so now he's against the ropes, he's like, okay, I gotta fight my way off, because normally if somebody's fighting you gotta fight them, especially someone like Cruz. You gotta hurt this man, and even when you hurt him, he doesn't care. So he's trying to fight his way off, and then he's kind of cornered because he's aligned with the right hand, so it's hard for him to escape. But this was advantageous for Cruz, and he waits for the opportunity, almost lands a left hook right there. Now that probe is very annoying. Sometimes it's not even just a probe, it's just a lead hand lingering out there. And so because of that, it's blocking so many normal passive entry for Cruz. And so he tries to get creative and step around here, but he's doing stuff that he looked like, I don't know if he ever practiced that. And so he kind of gets stuck there, and Rayo can just tap him if he wants to. Rayo frames on the guard, uses that probe to stick the guard up top, and then he tries to assault his family tree. But like we said, Cruz does not care. The only time he cares is when he gets clinched, then he shows some emotion. Cruz tries to fight for his family, and he steps in with the lead hand, and then he's fighting that lead hand battle. He uses his forearm to push through the lead hand of Rayo. As he closes the distance, Rayo is trying to jump back, but he just started jumping back, and Isak Cruz already closed the distance. On top of that, he's jumping back in a straight line, which means he gets lined up quite literally. So Isak Cruz is able to answer back right there, land a good right hand because Rayo was in a straight line and he didn't jump back in time, and Isak Cruz was able to close the distance. Since Cruz has success with that, he tries the exact same thing right here, tries to blockade his way through the lead hand. It obviously doesn't work because look at what Rayo's lead hand is doing. It's blocking his vision. It's guiding his entry a little bit, guiding his exit really, because he's backing up, and he's able to get out of the way of that right hand. Rayo does the smart thing right here. He knows he's against the ropes. He's going to try and take an exit. That's what he does, and he uses his height advantage right there. Now, luckily, Isak Cruz is below roller coaster height, but the thing about skill is maximizing your advantages, minimizing your disadvantages. You have to work with what you have. Cruz weaponizes his height disadvantage and turns it into an advantage quite often. And Rayo does a smart thing here, and where he leans into his advantage, or literally leans away in this instance, but it helps with his defense. So use what you have. Rayo's taller, and so he can lean out of the way of some of these shots that allow him to escape, and Cruz uses his height to kind of get underneath shots. So there's advantages and disadvantages to everything. Now, I know Cruz isn't known for having, you know, a supreme IQ, but he actually does something really smart here. He had to get creative because he was getting outboxed. But I saw him do it a few times in the fight. He purposely gets on the back foot. He's the one getting backed up, so he can bring Rayo to the front foot, bring Rayo towards him, and wait for him to either overextend or lean in too much, and he can try and time that forward momentum. But again, now in this instance it doesn't work, but we give points for creativity, and now we're going to show an instance where it actually does work to his advantage. but Cruz is persistent. So he's on the back foot, he's backing up. I think he did a little smile right there. He's a evil little man. And he waits for the left hand. And again, as soon as that left hand is thrown, his guard is already pulling back. He's waiting to jump in, and he sees Rayo lean over, and so he's able to jump and touch him with the jab. And then he actually is gonna try and do the same thing again. He's waiting patiently. You can see his eyes. He's waiting. He sees a little bit of movement. He's like, okay, now here's my time to step in. But Rayo, again, foot position, allows him to just barely escape that. And on top of that, he gave him the big brother, little brother treatment. It's kind of like a big brother, little brother fight, except the little brother can knock you out with any punch. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic. And I think this is a great moment from Cruz right here, because he gets in a bag that you normally don't see too much of him using. He uses a feint. He steps in, level changed, like he's about to enter. But then the next time he does it, it actually surprises Rayo, because he set it up with a feint, and he lands a great right hand right on the chin. He can be accurate at times too. Fast hands, accuracy is very dangerous. Rayo actually eats that, so good on his part. But yeah, the Pitbull is not much of a feinter, because some dogs don't really bark, they only bite, and that's probably why Mike Tyson is a big inspiration of his. Rayo answers back with his own left hand, and then Cruz successfully closes distance and corners him. But he's throwing this combo, and he's kind of smothering his own offense, and Rayo was kind of turning with it also, that further smothers it, and so everything gets shut down. And then the big brother, little brother treatment, of course. Cruz has Rayo coming forward a little bit, and then once he's coming forward, he tries to jump in with the left hook. Rayo jumps back, makes space, and then he probes at the guard, and he's gonna probe at it again after they reset a little bit. Probes with the left hand actually, and so the guard is dragged to the center, which means he can go around. That's what he does. This is a great combo from Rayo. Again, he does stray a little bit low. I don't know if it's like Cruz's torso or whatever, but I guess it's hard to hit this man with body shots. He hits him on the belly button, but at the same time, Cruz doesn't care. If it was a low blow, it doesn't matter to him. So yeah. And this was something I was talking about with the positioning, and although in this instance you're gonna see Rayo's lead foot is actually on the inside, but the cross misses by a lot because he's not moving back in a straight line. He's circling out towards Cruz's left or Rayo's right. And you see, but by the time that punch is thrown, Rayo is headed towards Cruz's left, which means that the cross of Cruz is misaligned, and that's why it misses by so much in comparison to the crosses that were landing or barely missing when Rayo was moving back in a straight line. Rayo surprised me. He showed a great game plan and good execution. I thought he was going to get laid out prior to this, if I'm being honest. And give credit to Cruz for being one of the more entertaining fighters in the sport, win or lose. People want to see his fights because they know that there's going to be a fight, or at least he's going to try and bring a fight. And that's how it should be. People should want to see great fighters, and they should want to see great entertainment. And if you could provide one of the two, or hopefully both, then you deserve credit. On to the next. Either looking at Andy Cruz and then finishing off with Crawford Madrimov, or doing Crawford Madrimov and finishing off with Andy Cruz. And then obviously there's a fight this weekend. Hopefully all very, very soon. Probably dropping something else today. That's it. I'm out.